During the pandemic, Kim and I bought a 28-foot Class C motorhome, small enough to fit inside our hangar when we were not using it. A few months later, we added a smart car to tow behind it, and that launched a series of 6 major trips, including the one we are on now. Those trips have been full of amazing adventures. From 2021 to 2026, we took 6 major motorhome trips, towing our smart car behind us. Over those trips, we managed to visit every one of the lower 48 states, along with 5 Canadian provinces: Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, and Ontario. This 6th trip completed the map. This video is from our 6th motorhome trip across this amazing and beautiful continent and through these United States of America. So we are now along the Pacific Coast Highway. We got the Pacific Ocean to the left. We're on our way up to the Hearst Castle. Not able to go any more west than this, young man. And that water, I suspect, is very cold. I have no desire to put my toe into it because I will die. It's not only cold, but it's also wet. Anyway, Humboldt current. So anyway, we're experiencing Highway 1 for the first time and looking forward to seeing the Hearst Castle. We have turned up the road to Hearst Castle. I have no idea what to expect. We're hoping to take a tour. To visit Hearst Castle, we started at the visitor center near the coast, then took the bus up the winding road into the hills. As we climbed, the scale of the place started to reveal itself. The Pacific opened up to the west, with broad views across the coastline, the ranch land, and the rolling California hills. By the time we reached the top, it was easy to see why William Randolph Hearst chose this location. The castle sits high above everything, almost like a private hilltop village. Around the main buildings were terraces, patios, gardens, sculptures, fountains, and carefully framed views in every direction. The famous outdoor Neptune Pool felt almost unreal, with columns, marble, and water set against the mountain and ocean backdrop. Even before going inside, the grounds alone made a strong impression. It is part estate, part museum, part fantasy, and part monument to what wealth, architecture, landscape, and imagination can create when ordinary limits are removed.
These are from Egypt and over 3,000 years old, hauled in here by William Randolph Hearst. The Virgin Mary at the top is about, I think she said, 600 years old.
Inside the castle, we started with the tapestry room and then moved into the dining room. What struck us there was the contrast. The room itself is grand, almost medieval in feeling, but the table settings were surprisingly ordinary. Nothing overly fancy, and somehow that made the place feel more real. We were impressed not only by William Randolph Hearst's vision, but by the architect who helped bring it to life, Julia Morgan. She was California's first licensed female architect, and she worked with Hearst for decades, shaping this hilltop estate into something beautiful, complex, and lasting. The family later turned the property over to the state of California so it could be preserved and shared. Standing there, it felt less like a private mansion and more like a piece of history that somehow survived. Just north of Hearst Castle, we stopped at the Elephant Seal viewing area near Piedras Blancas. This stretch of beach has become one of the best places on the California coast to see northern elephant seals up close without bothering them. They come here because the beach gives them a place to rest, molt, give birth, nurse their pups, and gather during breeding season. Most of their lives are spent far out at sea, diving for food, so when they come ashore, they are not here to entertain us. They are here because this is part of their life cycle. For visitors, though, it is remarkable. You can stand safely above the beach, watch these huge animals sleeping, moving, calling, and sometimes sparring, all with the Pacific right behind them. It has become a popular stop for tourists driving Highway 1, and locals seem to value it too because it is wild, accessible, and distinctly California. The elephant seals on the beach are mostly resting, and that is not laziness. These animals spend most of their lives far out at sea, diving deep for food, so when they come ashore, they are conserving energy. Depending on the season, they may be molting, breeding, giving birth, nursing pups, or simply resting between long periods in the ocean. They throw sand on themselves for cooling and sun protection. Their bodies are built for cold water, not lying in the sun, so the sand helps keep them from overheating. Most of the time they barely move, but every now and then one will shift position, flip sand, bark, bump another seal, or lumber awkwardly across the beach. They look clumsy on land, but this beach is their resting and recovery place before they return to the ocean, where they are far more powerful and graceful. The squirrels here have clearly learned the tourist routine. If you have food, they are not shy. They come right up, look you over, and seem fully prepared to jump into your lap if that is what it takes. Cute, bold, and maybe a little too experienced. This is Carmel-by-the-Sea. From Carmel-by-the-Sea south toward Bixby Bridge, the California coast becomes increasingly rugged and dramatic. The road follows high cliffs above the Pacific, with waves breaking against dark offshore rocks, narrow coves, and steep headlands. Wind and water have been shaping this coastline for thousands of years, cutting into the cliffs and leaving isolated rock formations standing offshore. Around each bend, the view changes, sometimes opening into a broad sweep of ocean, and sometimes tightening into a rocky inlet far below the highway. The contrast is what makes this stretch so memorable. Blue water, pale cliffs, dark stone, and green coastal hills all meeting in one place. By the time we reached Bixby Bridge, the scenery had already become the kind of California coastline we had imagined before the trip. This is the Bixby Bridge, built in 1932, nearly 100 years old. Unique structure. That's an arch that they put in, and that is actually carrying, it's all precast, or actually poured in place, I believe, and then all the columns are coming off of that. Quite a piece of engineering. Rather perfect afternoon. We are eating our meal. There's my bride. That's our view out to the Pacific Ocean with a cliff, and the weather is absolutely fantastic. It's cool, probably about 68 degrees. We're behind a bush, so we're not getting any heavy winds, so our jackets are off. Kind of ideal. On our return trip north, we crossed Bixby Bridge for the second time. The view was just as impressive from the opposite direction, with the bridge framed by steep cliffs, rugged coastline, and the Pacific stretching out beside us. Hey, one-lane road. We're in the Carmen area. A lot of people pulled off to the side of the road. Probably just to walk into the park, I'm guessing. Part of it is a beach. A lot of guys are going out there with their coats, and some are actually going into the water. Surprise, surprise. So Kim and I have driven over here to Albion, which is a town right on the west coast. It's quite a bit north of Santa Rosa. It's south of the Wild Coast, where I think it's called Ferndale is, or something like that, which we'll be heading up Highway 1 tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Today we're going to be heading south, but right now we are in this campsite, which is right here at the base of the Albion Bridge, and been a lot of controversy whether or not they're going to tear it down, rebuild it, but the locals don't want that, and the thing is working great. So they're kind of in a little bit of a battle on that. But this thing was built back in World War II, where there wasn't much steel, so
what they did is they had to build it out of timber, and so they poured concrete bases and then ran steel. Up there at the top is some steel girders or trusses, which they kind of took or stole, whatever you want to call it, from some other bridge that was taken down at that time in 1945. Brought it over here, so that's kind of the truss that's going in between these wooden structures. So Kim and I are going to walk over here. Then on the other side of that, of course, is the Pacific Ocean and the rocks and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. Nice sandy path taking us out here to, I guess, the edge of the water. We're along what's called the Albion River, which is there. And that's what this big old bridge is actually covering. The Albion River Bridge is one of the most distinctive structures along California's Highway 1. Built in 1944, it uses a timber deck truss design with a steel center span, reflecting wartime shortages of steel and concrete. At about 970 feet long, it is now the last wooden bridge still carrying Highway 1 traffic in California. Its old trestle-like appearance has made it a landmark for the town of Albion and a familiar sight to travelers along the coast. Caltrans says the bridge is deteriorating, narrow, and vulnerable in an earthquake, and plans to replace it. Many local residents oppose that idea, seeing the bridge as part of Albion's identity, history, and tourism appeal. I believe that our motorhome went over this thing, but look at the wood. I mean, this is amazing. Look at these foundations, and they got straps here to keep it from moving. Look at that. For a structural engineering viewpoint, which I've got, of course, this thing is quite fascinating. When you look straight up, and there's that bridge way up above it. Maybe 100 feet or so above us, I'm guessing. And of course the Pacific Ocean out here. We're in a little cove, of course. You wanna go swimming, Kim? As we are wearing our heavy jackets in the mid-50s right now, which is for us, it's cold. Anytime it gets to this temperature, which isn't really that cold, like in Florida, it's really not that bad. But here, when you're right up along the water, we've felt this before. We felt this up in Lake Superior years ago, a couple years ago when we were up there. It was only 50s or so yet. I felt like we were in sub-zero weather. The wind coming in from the west. Okay, you get to touch it. I'm not. Is that cold? Yeah, the Pacific Ocean is no warm body of water for sure. Looks like that's all wood up there, and then it looks like that's where the steel is for that large span. Our motorhome went right across that thing, and that's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? Wow. There's our little motorhome way back there waiting for us, all cozy and warm. Heading back to it now, like big Florida babies here. Our home away from home, nice and cozy and quite the palace for us. Currently in a redwood forest. I don't know if it's a state forest or a national, but it got some pretty dadgum large trees here and a neat trail. Take a look at that tree there, isn't that amazing? These videos absolutely don't even begin to show the perspective. And this is just out in the woods, man. This is not like at a Sequoia National Park or anything. Look at that. This is along Highway 128, maybe 6 miles inland from the Pacific. These are redwoods, and what we've done is decided to stop to set up our little chairs and just have ourselves a cigar, which is very unusual to have one this early in the morning. It's only about 11. So does that make me a cigaraholic?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so we're just enjoying the quietness, the solitude of a beautiful forest. And then this is the lions and tigers and bears, oh my, from Wizard of Oz type forest. It's just classic and beautiful. And our little car sits over there waiting for us. After this, we're going to head over to a beach along the Pacific and take a look at that. No swimming though. Right now we are at a place called Greenwood Beach, and rain is starting, which we were predicting. So we're probably going to eat in the car. But look at that. We are likely, I would say, 400, 300 feet above the surface of the Pacific. It's very narrow. Kim's driving. We're going through a whole bunch of redwoods here. Not sequoias, but redwoods. Coastal redwoods. I have two dogs in my lap here. At Sequoia Park Zoo, we walked the Redwood Skywalk, a series of elevated bridges and platforms through the redwood canopy. It gave us a completely different view of the forest, high among the trunks, with the ground far below, and the giant trees surrounding us. That's pretty amazing. Quite a forest. These are the kind of forests you dream about. The tall trees, clean areas along the bottom. Nothing like what we see in Florida, nothing. At the top, it turns and then apparently goes all the way out there. And a bit of a rope bridge back over here.
Calm, elegant, reflective.